Yes, you will.
On to another subset of fans who never know when they've got it good. Star Wars.
Yes. Star Wars has been a good week.
This particular week of Star Wars has been very much my brand of Star Wars. Andor Episode 8, once again, this show is not fucking missing.
No, it was great.
This is going to sound like a really weird sentence, and if this was to ever get taken out of context, we need to make sure we have the full footage.
Never.
High-tech futuristic fascist prison is a really cool aesthetic.
Do you know what it is? I know what you mean.
It looks really cool. Don't get me wrong. It's desolate, depressing. It's fascist and capitalist at the same time. It's all of the worst. It's
exactly what
visually,
you would
it looks very cool.
It's exactly what you would expect from like an empire trying to basically just work their prisoners, but they're going to make the prisoners think that they've got it decent.
Do you know what cracked me up? It's when he gives him the food pipe. He's like, "Oh, you can eat as much as you want, but you only get flavour if we're the best team."
Well, yeah, it's like, you can eat as much as you want because they want us fit and healthy. Oh, but number one gets flavour. So you think, oh, what is that they're eating?
Like, milk. The twisted minds that come up with this style of prison for this world, even though it fits, need help. Because I guarantee you, Zuckerberg, Bezos have seen this and gone, "Hey, yo, that's genius."
The production level out of that place.
Productivity's at an all-time high. We feed them enough so that they stay healthy, but they're still chasing better. Oh, it's so good.
Why do I feel like there's going to be a new American prison?
Do you know what it is? This prison that we've seen is, like I said, it's fascist because of who's operating it? It's capitalist because it's free labor.
Yeah.
But then you've also got like a big criticism of the American prison industrial complex and the fact that they are doing essentially this. They've got their prisoners who sit and work and earn fuck all to make billions for these companies. And the thing is, we're looking at it, we're like, oh my god, this is so outrageously unrealistic. But let's be honest, this thing felt very fucking real.
Yeah.
The only unrealistic bit was actually them having the budget to give the prisoners unlimited food. That is the least realistic part for me.
And it being that clean.
Yeah. And it being that clean.
But
they were the least realistic parts.
In terms of Star Wars, though, I enjoy the fact that this actually gives us a very big insight into how the Empire produced all its ships, whatever they're making. We don't know what they're making, but things like, everyone jokes about the fact that like how many people it would have taken to build the Death Star, like building things like that, and like all the equipment, everything. Like, people just kind of accept the fact that the Empire has that stuff, but like the idea that they just turn prisons into mass production factories just makes perfect sense.
And just on a random Tuesday, doubled everyone's sentences going forward and retroactively, and the public heard nothing about it.
Yeah.
At this point, people, and I know like everyone's like, oh, you need to you got to separate politics from fiction. You've got to see that all media is trying to put a point across. Or good media anyway. And this point is, do you know what your leaders are doing?
Well, yeah, look at how many laws the politicians try to slip through.
Yeah, like, I had to tell someone at work the other day that the Conservative Party in Britain right now, 6 months ago, was trying to make it illegal for us to protest. They were trying to make it illegal for us to go out and protest the government. That's a basic human right.
So
it just
wild.
Is. And no one really seems to have like picked up on it. Yeah, like, you see people talk about it occasionally, but large majorities of people don't even know what's going on.
Yeah, there's the amount of stuff that gets passed or attempted to be passed and people have no clue. This is a like fictional example of that. Like, the fact that this law passed and the people inside knew about it only because their sentences got doubled and they have a number counter.
Also, how fucking depressing would that be?
that's like, oh, it's that it takes that idea though that like prisoners keep track of how many days exactly they've left, and it's like we're gonna shove that in your face because they know the closer you get, the more actually the harder people will work because they won't want to fuck up and end up in there
Yeah.
longer.
Put it this way, I don't think it'd be a surprise to anyone listening that I'm a very left-leaning socialist.
I think
Um,
that's
I don't think that would really be a surprise to anyone. This episode this week pushed home these issues so well. I was ready to go out and like start fighting the man right then and there because they hit them points of like, do you know what's going on in your own back garden? And like I said, it feeling so realistic and believable, and being able to go, there are definitely people who would try and pull this shit off.
yeah.
Should genuinely make you a little bit scared and be like, oh, that felt a little bit too real.
And
Death
there's
Star
like
blowing up, you go, oh, that's sick. You don't go, oh, that could really happen.
yeah, I know what you mean.
This prison, you're like, I feel like I've seen this in a documentary.
Yeah, and it's like
I'd share.
it's very the way it's all set up as well is like there's 7 floors, 5 sections in each floor, whatever, and every section like each segment like there's like what 7 sections inside your floor. You're all against each other.
Yeah.
Then each reviewer against the other ones on your floor.
And I guarantee you no one actually wins.
No, it's all just that's all just corporate level like competition to push productivity so that they're making more stuff. They feel like they're in a competition and they're winning something, but realistically, the people winning are the people at the top.
I guarantee you everyone gets shocked every day.
Probably somewhat. But like, do you know what I thought was interesting? There's that one bit where they're like obviously swapping from day shift to night shift.
Mm-hmm.
And they're in the tunnel waiting, and one of them's doing sign language across to another. There's like, I think something rebellion wise is going to break out. Because also the fact that the gods don't care what's going on and don't really like pay any attention to actually what's going on inside. They just bring the people in. To. Well, no, it's all run itself.
Yeah, people are so scared of doing anything wrong and getting shocked, which is all automatic. They know people are going to comply. It's a beautiful fear tactic. Hey, say what you want about the Empire, they were well run.
They were efficient.
The only thing they didn't know how to do was stomp out rebellion.
Well, when it's at senators' house parties, which
also, what's his face? He's definitely been taken out back and shot, hasn't he? Tay, was it?
What, her friend?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so yet.
No.
So I get the sense that obviously we made a bit of a time jump, didn't we, when Cassian got caught? So that also included time jump from that first party. Mm-hmm. And there was like the comment of, oh, he's back. Oh, you're back again. Is this becoming a regular thing now? Are you here for just passing through or?
Yeah.
And even the daughter's noticing that he's rocking up a lot, which is not a good sign for him. For Tay.
Oh, yeah, he gonna die soon. And that's when Mon... Because, like, by the time we get to A New Hope, Mon is, like, not even pretending to be part of the Senate anymore, so I don't know. She's like a full-on rebellion general.
Yes.
So, like, I can only imagine his death, because, again, he's not a character we know, is gonna happen at some point in this series.
I think there's gonna be his death, and then her husband and daughter, something's gonna happen to them as well.
Oh, no, I think they're gonna throw her under the bus. I think they're Empire loyalists.
I don't know.
I think that's going to be a lot of her internal struggle. She's literally having to give up her family for the good of the universe.
I think what'll happen is her husband's obviously going to figure it out and be like, try and pull her away from doing it because it's the daughter that's then going to say something out of pocket that's going to then, not intentionally, but get her mum in shit. And then she's going to have to like flee or something. Then we've got Luthen having a midlife crisis or something.
Yeah, he's really bored of playing his character, isn't he? He really wants to get out and start a fucking fist fight with Palpatine.
He really wants to go bros on the run with Cassian.
Yeah, he's got a crush on Cassian. I respect it.
He's at that point where like it's interesting to see how his assistant girl is actually more level-headed about the situation.
She is fully there to balance him out.
Oh, yeah. He's making the difficult decisions, but she's the one that keeps things on the tracks.
Mm-hmm.
And there's obviously, I think she's assigned the two girls to find Cassian. I don't know if Luthen... Oh, no, Luthen did know that they were going there. So they've obviously... Luthen's in on that. But Luthen obviously wants to try and find him.
I don't think Luthen knows
himself.
they're there to kill him.
Well, yeah, so I think he knows that... Or he's told his assistant woman to, like... Get them to find Cassian. And the assistant woman told them, you're going to kill Cassian.
Yeah.
And get rid of him. Because this is causing a problem to Luthen. He's a distraction for Luthen. Mm-hmm. So there's definitely going to be a bit of conflict comes from that.
It was also really cool to see Saw Gerrera.
Yes, I had a feeling we were going to get him at some point in this. I didn't know when in the series.
He was in one of the trailers, wasn't he?
Possibly, I can't remember.
Because I wasn't surprised to see him at all, but I don't know if that's because it just fits so well or if
he was in a trailer. He was in Rogue One, so
yeah,
it made sense that he was going to show up at some point. I like how they're showing him a bit younger and better health, slightly better health.
It's also really funny seeing Luthen like very aware you've got all these little rebellions, and he's clearly going around like, we need to get everyone at a table.
Yeah.
And we need to unionize the rebellions.
Yeah.
So that we can actually get shit done. He's a very big picture guy.
Yeah, he sees the bigger picture and the advantage of them all getting together, where Saw Gerrera always has been like on his own sort of like guerrilla warfare style. And I think I liked the little bit of like, oh, that money was you, Luthen. He's like, no, I thought that money was you that got stolen. Clearly, like, just bullshitting each other. Both probably, like, Luthen, obviously, it was him. And I think Saw knows it was definitely Luthen, but he can't get him to admit it.
To that, yeah.
I liked how he tried bartering him parts that he wants for joining them, essentially.
Yeah. Go work with this other group, and I'll give you what you want. Because he's hoping, Saul works with him, and he's like, okay, that actually went okay. And then everyone goes, Saul's working with them. Maybe we can work with them, and then we can get more done. Luthen knows that Saul's like the real outlier of the different rebellions. So if he can bring him in, other people will be like, okay, maybe this is worth it.
Yeah, Saul's the big name known around, and he's always ended up, and we see in Rogue One, like he always ends up keeping to his own cause and his own thing.
I mean, we see it in the Clone Wars as well.
Yeah, we do.
When he's really young.
Well, that's where it all started, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, his sister was doing his job and then she died.
And then what else? Oh, we saw Cassian's mum's not well. Old age and all that. Yeah,
really not well.
I like the fact that she was outside the new headquarters trying to pry open an underground thing, like proper old like granny trying to be the head of the rebellion. I just love that idea.
Oppression breeds rebellion.
And then we obviously got the interrogation stuff has all started now on Ferrix, and Bix gets picked up. Also, our good old cop friend, I forget his name now. Khan, that's it. Gets a little interview of sorts, little interrogation of his own.
My guy is such a bootlicker, it's unreal.
Oh, bro, like, as soon as he was just like, I was unfairly just, I did a good job, I caught them in less than 2 weeks and I should not have been punished.
He is the Star Wars equivalent of Brexit means Brexit.
Oh, God, yeah. He's obviously going to keep playing a part in this. And I wonder if it's going to be a case of is he going to turn? Like, is he going to... Do you not think he's going to swap sides? Because...
I think he's going to be about to turn. and then get killed by the Empire before he actually decides to. If that makes sense.
Okay, yeah. So I was gonna say, I wonder if he turns and then ends up dead in the mix of it. So it
I
could.
mean, yeah, like kind of like in the
I
middle of a battle, realizes he's been on the wrong side this whole time,
do
but
you know?
doesn't make it out of the battle.
Yeah, something like that. Or he's gonna get baited by the Empire. That he's gonna get used by them to capture Cassian, and then in the process dies and realizes he's been used.
Yeah.
I think he has not got a good end, unfortunately. Could be wrong. Could end up being the star pupil and he gets promoted. And
Becomes a villain.
I like the way though that he had filed 6. Was it 6 reports?
Yeah,
All for
6
like
false reports.
Cassian oil person. Cassian missed this thing. Different person. Like trying every which way to get information. But
One thing that's just literally dawned to me as we sat here chatting of something this show's done really well.
go on.
It's done something phenomenally well by not doing something.
Oh.
So, as we know, the Empire was very racist. And basically anyone who wasn't humanoid was turned into a slave or killed.
Yeah.
Have we really seen any aliens?
The only ones I've noticed have been at Mon's parties. And they've always been in the background. She's always been talking with. Now, in my head, partly I was like, is this a budget thing? Or like
No,
a
it's
vision?
not budget.
Well, not a budget thing. Like, obviously, it's very hard to do close up shots with alien characters if you're using prosthetics. Like, it's never going to look 100% realistic. Like, it's going to look a little bit. So I was like, wait, maybe they're just trying to avoid that. But it could be right. You could be.
I think a big part of it is them showing something by not showing something.
The only time we've had like an interaction with one was that first episode when Cassian is walking through town, that his friend or whoever stops him for money and uses his other bigger alien friend as like tells him to just stand there and look mean. Mm-hmm. That's the only time we've.
Yeah, and again, he's working on a really poor planet.
Yeah, there's definitely been a lot like.
If you think about it compared to basically any other, especially modern Star Wars show,
yeah,
there's been practically no like non-humans.
Yeah, there's been the only time they've shown up has been in backgrounds. They've definitely kept the focus of interactions between humanoids.
Because that's who ran the Empire.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting.